saying, you know, statistics, but anybody can make up a statistic.
That's why there's so many of them, from both the left and from the right, and for 30 years
Where do you
now.
think it's okay to say all this?
Okay,
I mean,
you know what? You may as well stand up.
My mother was a single mother, and I'm getting, like, emotional.
That's fine. You're saying what you feel.
I can't talk now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you may as well stand up and say, I'm a smoker and I'm very upset about the smoking statistics, and don't you tell me about lung cancer. The statistics are the statistics.
Be nice. She's talking about something important to her.
So is smoking, and people dying of smoking, and so is people being raised by single mothers.
I don't understand.
Standing up and saying, I'm a single mother and you can't say that is not an argument.
Tell her about your mom.
I didn't say that I was a single mother. I come from a single family.
Okay,
I'm not a rapist. I'm not a murderer.
Don't yell at me about what the smoking statistics are.
We're not talking about smoking, lady. We're talking about single parents. We're talking about something far more important than smoking, I feel.
Yes, as I said, it's more damaging to a child.
So for you to even put those two together is ridiculous. I know you're saying this stuff, but do you think about it before you say it?
No, just shoot off at the mouth. It's a chapter of my last book. It has the studies there if you're interested. It is study after study. No, I'm just shooting off the top of my head what comes into my mind.
I really am just kind of annoyed with the fact that you are just perpetuating the stereotype that all libertarians are quote-unquote stoners. I have never smoked pot before.
I don't think you are
I never want to. I never want to try, in all honesty. The drugs that are illegal, I don't want to try any of them.
I don't think any of you are stoners. You're nerds. He asked me about pot legalization.
My question is, how is it any of your business what I choose to put in my body if I'm not affecting anyone else?
Let the lady answer.
Okay, first of all, for alleged individualists, you're very mob-like. Second of all, it is my business. It is my business.
But the question is, why is it your
business? When we are living in a welfare state. You get rid of the welfare state, and then we'll talk about drug legalization. But right now, I have to pay for, it turns out, coming down the pike, your health care. I have to pay your unemployment when you can't hold a job. I have to pay for your food, for your housing.
But if someone's not using any of those programs in a hypothetical world or whatever, then would you be okay with it?
Look,
if we didn't have a socialist country and you didn't have to pay for their drug use?
That's exactly the point I'm saying you guys ought to be concentrating on. We live in a welfare state.
She won't answer the question.
I am answering the question.
Thanks, I think.
What do you mean I haven't answered the question?
Would you say all the drugs should be legal if we didn't have a socialist healthcare system?
I wouldn't care.
Okay. Next question.
I'm Robert Thomas from the College of Charleston, and I just first like to say you have just been lovely tonight, I think. You've been great. No, a lot of respect. But I kind of have a problem with the way that you're talking about gay marriage and the way the libertarians here are kind of talking about gay marriage, because I've kind of always seen the libertarian position on gay marriage as kind of a third way. We don't say what the liberals say, which is that, the government should define it one way or the other. We say that the government should not be involved in marriage at all. My question is, what is wrong with that third way position that Ron Paul has advocated?
Well, again, we're way past that point. I think it would be very hard to achieve in any event, but the government issues divorce decrees, it issues alimony orders, it issues child support, child custody. We're beyond the point of saying, I just think government shouldn't be involved. They are involved.
Okay, next.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Irena Ruby from Drexel University, and I just wanted to ask, what gives you the idea that people who are in a third party, specifically because they won't compromise their beliefs, would hold an opinion just to suck up to a bigger party?
Because I think there are much bigger issues If you are a genuine libertarian, there's an awful lot to be privatizing right now. I mean, why do we have an education department out of Washington, D.C.? When Ronald Reagan ran for office, why do we have a commerce department? Why do we have agricultural subsidies? We are living in a nation that's 70% socialist. There are serious issues where we could really use free marketeers. And what do you ask me about? Legalizing pot. That's why I say you're sucking up to liberals. Oh, let's just say the things liberals will like. Let's tell them we're going to legalize prostitution.
Let's do a couple more here.
My question has to do with marriage and the fact that you just said that you think that it should be more difficult for people to get divorced. As an independent woman who has put myself through college, I'm in my senior year, went back to college, and also as someone who has bought my own home with my own money, I am going through a divorce, and this is the most difficult thing that I've ever had to do in my life. Why do you feel that it should be more difficult for someone to get divorced when something is not worked out?
Well, I don't know your personal circumstances. And I also don't like anecdotal examples, but I mean, when you buy a refrigerator, to break a contract to return your refrigerator is more difficult in most states than to break a marriage contract.
It's very difficult.
Right.
It's been a year.
Right, it should be easier to get rid of a mechanical device.
It's been a year, and it's still very difficult for me.
Well, I don't know what the laws are in your state. They vary state to state. Yeah,
we can't solve that here.
Yes.
Obviously, you've pressed a lot of buttons. I thank you for that. Please thank her for going into the lion's nest, Ann Coulter.
They convince themselves that this isn't a crime, that these aren't criminals breaking in.
Well, they actually want to transform the country. And in this particular case, I mean, as I wrote in my column this week, which came out a day early, journalists know absolutely nothing about immigration. They refuse to learn. And if they just run around banning any words necessary to discuss illegal immigration, anchor baby, illegal alien, amnesty, sanctuary city, chain migration, anything having to do with immigration, they don't want Americans thinking about what they're doing to our country. This is a mass move by the America-hating left to destroy our country. And in this particular case, these asylum cases are always frauds. The first World Trade Center bomber, why was he in our country able to bomb the World Trade Center? Because he landed at JFK and claimed asylum. His traveling companion not only had manuals for how to build a bomb, videos of car bombing videos, but he, like so many asylum applicants, had instructions on how to lie to U.S. immigration officials. Every time an asylee gets in the news, that woman who accused the IMF head, falsely accused him of rape a few years ago at the Sofitel Hotel in New York, once she makes the news, let's look at her asylum application. She claimed she had been, raped and tortured in some country. The whole thing was nonsense. The Diallo who was shot by cops in 1999 totally lied on his asylum application. The advantage of a humanitarian visa is you instantly get on the American gravy train. There is no welfare program you are not eligible for. All kinds of money and goods are sent your way. And so as liberal publications like the New York Times and the New Yorker have described, there are outfits passing out scripts to people, telling them what to claim during their interview, and they all get approved. America's really generous, but there comes a limit to your generosity after you have all of these foreign con men ripping you off for decade after decade after decade. And what is happening at the border right now isn't just your run-of-the-mill asylum fraud. This is a political stunt by an outfit called Pueblo Sin Fronteras, a group, People Without Borders. Their ideological position is America cannot have a border. Anyone can waltz in and start collecting American Social Security and Medicare and everything else. You're not allowed to have a border, American people. We know this has been going on. They have been marching these Central Americans up near 2,000 miles through Mexico, through the desert of Mexico, abusing these children, 90% of whom are not with their parents for this trek, to get them to the U.S. border. If this were a genuine asylum case for any of them, they'd just stop in Mexico. They'd say, oh, I was being persecuted in my home country. Yay, I'm out. I'm in a new country. Oh, no. They are marching to the American border because they are trying to prove a political point. It's disgusting that liberals are using these wailing children. You know, it's like a girlfriend who cries whenever she doesn't get her way, so she always gets her way. Just show us the crying children. Fine, we'll give up all our laws. Take our country.
How about if we send teams to Central America to persuade all these people to become Republicans and conservative? Then you'll see Chuck Schumer at the border with a cement mixer building the wall himself.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. That's going to be the last we're going to hear about crying children. And of course, the crying children and parents we never hear about are the ones whose children or siblings have been killed by illegal aliens. Oh, you will never ever hear about them unless you're reading Breitbart or the Drudge Report. They won't be interviewed on CNN or MSNBC. You won't have Rachel Maddow tearing up over Marianne Mendoza. Very handsome officer's son was shot by an illegal. Don Rosenberg, whose son was on a motorcycle, run over 3 times by an illegal alien. Ran over him forward, backed up over him, ran over him again. Just last week in Lansing, Michigan, a cute little 14-year-old boy on the football team killed by an illegal alien. You don't even know about that case. These liberals pretending to care about children, it's utter nonsense. They don't care about children. They certainly don't care about American children. This is all a political ploy.
Well, but do you think one reason this story got nonstop coverage for the last 2 days is to keep everybody's eyes off the IG report and the hearings that have been taking place in Congress? It came out that 2 more FBI guys were totally corrupt, trying to hurt Trump, and that they somehow ended up on the Mueller team?
Yes. I mean, that isn't the main point. The main point, keep your eye on the ball, is destroy America. These are leftists like Bernadine Dorn and Bill Ayers. They just hate America, and they want to destroy it. They used to do it by aligning themselves with the Soviet Union, and now they do it from within by just dragging in the third world and demanding we have no borders. Turn America into Mexico. It'll be much more amenable to them. They used to want to turn us into the Soviet Union. Now they want us to turn us into the worst Latin America banana republic.
Well, there's a lot of those bad people, but there's some good liberals that